Winter always reminds me of a Robert Service poem that my grandfather used to recite. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. And the Arctic trails hold their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake Labarge. I cremated Sam McGee. Now, Sam McGee was from Tennessee, where the cotton blooms and blows. Why he left his home in the south to roam round the pole, God only knows. He was always cold, but the land of gold seemed to hold him like a spell. Though he'd often say in his homely way, I'd rather live in hell. It was Christmas Day. We were mushing our way over the Dawson Trail. Talk of your cold through the parka's fold, it bit like a driven nail. If our eyes we'd closed and the lashes froze till sometimes we couldn't see. 'Twasn't much fun. But the only one to whimper was Sam McGee. And that very night, as we lay packed tight in our robes beneath the snow, and the dogs were fed and the stars overhead were dancing heel and toe, Sam turns to me and, Cap, says he, I'll cash in this trip, I guess. And if I do, I'm asking that you won't refuse my last request. A friend's last need is a thing to heed. Then he said with a sort of a moan, it's this cursed cold, and it's got right hold, and it's chilled me clean to the bone. Yet tain't being dead, it's the awful dread of the icy grave that pains. So I ask you to swear that foul or fair, you'll cremate my last remains. Well, he seemed so low that I couldn't say no, and I swore I would not fail. We started off at the streak of dawn, but God, he looked ghastly pale. He crouched on the sleigh and he raved all day of his home in Tennessee. But by nightfall, a corpse was all 'twas left to Sam McGee. There wasn't a breath in that land of death as I hurried, horror-driven, with a corpse half hid that I couldn't get rid because of a promise given. It was lashed to the sleigh, and he seemed to say, you may tax your brawn and brains, but you promised true, and it's up to you to cremate my last remains. Well, a promise made is a debt unpaid, and the trail has its own stern code. In the days to come, though my lips were dumb, in my heart how I curse that load. And every night by the lone firelight, with the huskies round in a ring, howled out their woes to the boundless snows. Oh God, how I loathe that thing. And every day that silent clay seemed to heavy and heavier grow. And on we went, though the dogs were spent and the grub was getting low. The trail was bad, and I seemed half mad, and I swore I would not give in. And I'd often sing to the hateful thing, and 'twould hearken with a grin. Till we came to the marge of Lake Labarge, and there a derelict lay. It was jammed in the ice, and I saw in a trice its name was the Alice May. I looked at it, I thought a bit, and I looked at my frozen chum, and there, said I, with a sudden cry, is my crematorium. Some planks I tore from the cabin floor, and I lit the boiler fire. Some coal I found that was lying around, and I heaped the fuel higher. The flames just soared, the furnace roared, such a blaze you'll seldom see. And I burrowed a hole in the glowing coals, and I stuffed in Sam McGee. I took a hike, for I didn't like to hear him sizzle so. And the heavens scowled, and the huskies howled, and the wind began to blow. It was icy cold, but the hot sweat rolled down my cheeks, and I don't know why. And the greasy smoke in an inky cloak went streaking down the sky. I do not know how long in the snow I wrestled with grisly fear. But the stars came out and danced about ere again I ventured near. I was sick with dread, but I bravely said I'll just take a peek inside. I guess he's cooked, and it's time I looked. Then the door I opened wide, and there sat Sam, looking cool and calm in the midst of the furnace roar. And he wore a smile you could see a mile, and he said, "Please close that door. It's fine in here, but I greatly fear you'll let in the cold and the storm. Since I left Plum Tree down in Tennessee, it's the first time I've been warm." There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. And the Arctic trails hold their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The Northern Lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake Labarge. I cremated Sam McGee.